You close your eyes, and the world around you begins to fade. The sounds of the day dissolve into silence, and slowly you find yourself drifting into a different kind of night. Not the night of your room or even the night of Earth, but the vast, endless night that stretches above all things, the cosmic night of stars and silence. Here, you are floating, unbound by weight, unhurried by time. The Earth lies far behind, a fragile blue sphere glowing against a sea of darkness. Before you, scattered like jewels on velvet, are the asteroids, ancient wanderers, drifting slowly through blackness, bathed in the soft light of distant suns. They seem, at first glance, like cold, lifeless stones, spinning without purpose. But as you draw closer, as you let your imagination soften into their stillness, you begin to hear something deeper. A lullaby, not in sound, but in rhythm. The slow turning of rock, the quiet shimmer of sunlight against metal, the patient drifting of bodies that have traveled for billions of years. Each asteroid is a fragment of story, a shard of the early solar system, older than Earth, older than the oceans and forests, older than life itself. These wanderers have seen the birth of planets, the swirling of gases into suns, the chaos of collisions that shaped worlds. They are relics of creation, carrying within the metals forged in ancient stars, platinum, gold, iron, nickel, condensed from explosions so vast they lit entire galaxies. As you float near one, you notice its surface. It is pitted with craters, etched with scars of impact, dusted with fine regolith that has lain undisturbed for eons. There is no wind to sweep it, no rain to wear it down, no life to soften its edges. It is raw history, untouched. You realize that every groove and shadow is a memory, an echo of the violent, wondrous birth of the solar system. You drift closer still, and with each breath, you feel the enormity of what lies within. Beneath this quiet surface are veins of metal, platinum that could power economies, gold that could alter markets, rare earth elements that are vital to modern technology. These asteroids are not just rocks. They are repositories of wealth, storehouses of resources that Earth itself struggles to provide. And yet, they are more than treasure chests. They are libraries of stone, each one a chapter in the story of the universe. By studying them, we read the tale of how planets formed, how materials condensed, how water, and perhaps even the ingredient of life were delivered to Earth. The asteroids hum not just with economic potential, but with knowledge, with wisdom locked in minerals and molecules. As you drift, you begin to imagine humanity's relationship with these wanderers. We look up at them and see possibility. We imagine spacecraft landing softly, robotic arms reaching out, samples being drawn. We imagine futures where asteroids provide the metals that build new technologies, that fuel new economies, that perhaps make Earth more sustainable by reducing the need for destructive mining here home. But in this quiet moment, floating among them, you also feel their solitude. They have drifted alone for billions of years, untouched, unclaimed. To see them as mere commodities feels incomplete. They are more than wealth. They are companions in the night, keepers of cosmic memory. You breathe in a thought and let it expand. These bodies remind you that value is not only what can be sold or traded. Value is also story, history, beauty, the hush of knowing you are connected to something unimaginably old. The stars above you shimmer, faint and eternal. Against this backdrop, the asteroids appear small, yet their potential is vast. Imagine, a single metallic asteroid the size of a mountain could contain more platinum than has ever been mined on Earth. Enough to alter markets, reshape industries, even change the course of economies. This is not fantasy. It is fact, waiting quietly in the darkness. And so you find yourself at a threshold. On one side lies wonder, the poetry of cosmic history, the beauty of ancient fragments humming with time. On the other lies ambition, the human drive to reach, to extract, to transform. Both truths rest within these stones, side by side, inseparable. The lullaby of the stars continues. The asteroids turn slowly, endlessly, their motion hypnotic. You feel your breath sync with their rhythm, calm and steady. Each rotation is like a heartbeat of the cosmos, patient, timeless. You begin to imagine them not as rocks, but as gardens of potential, silent gardens waiting to be tended, Some may carry water locked in minerals, essential for sustaining life in space. Others may hold metals that could build ships, colonies, futures among the planets. And all of them carry the quiet gift of knowledge, clues to the origins of the world you call home. The stillness soothes you. You realize that to listen to these asteroids is to listen to time itself. They are reminders that life is both fleeting and eternal, that the universe holds patience far beyond our own. And in their patience, they invite reflection. Who will reach them first? Who will decide what they mean? Who, if anyone, can claim to own these wandering treasures of space? The question lingers in the night like a gentle echo, unanswered, unresolved. The lullaby draws you deeper into calm. You drift among countless stones, each glowing faintly with reflected light, each humming with possibility. Your mind grows quiet, your breath slower. You feel held by the vastness, soothed by the silence, comforted by the thought that you are part of this endless story. And yet, just beneath the calm, curiosity stirs. If these ancient wanderers carry such wealth, what will happen when humanity truly begins to mine them? Will it be a dream of abundance or a storm of greed? Will these cosmic gardens be tended with care or stripped with haste? The stars flicker, the asteroids turn, and the question grows brighter. The lullaby leads you toward it, gently, steadily, like a current carrying you into the next dream. You drift deeper into the night sky, still carried by the lullaby of the stars. The asteroids continue to turn slowly in their ancient dance, but now your mind begins to see them differently. They no longer feel like silent wanderers alone in the void. They shimmer like treasure chests, waiting to be opened. Their quiet shapes whisper of riches beyond imagination. For centuries, people have dreamed of gold. Civilizations have risen and fallen around it. Voyages have crossed oceans in its pursuit. Wars have been fought to possess it. And yet here, in the silence of space, lies more gold, more platinum, more rare metals than humanity has ever held in its hands. The thought itself glows like a lantern in the dark, the dream of infinite wealth. You imagine it gently, not as greed or frenzy, but as wonder. If a single metallic asteroid could hold more platinum than all of Earth's reserves, what would that mean? If another held enough iron and nickel to build cities in the sky, how would that reshape the course of human history? The numbers are staggering. One asteroid, rich in platinum group metals, could hold trillions of dollars worth of material, enough to dwarf entire economies, enough to change the meaning of scarcity itself. As you breathe slowly, you realize the dream of abundance is not just fantasy. It rests quietly in the rocks above us, waiting for touch. But you are not the only one who dreams. For decades, visionaries, scientists, and entrepreneurs have looked upward with the same glimmer in their eyes. Companies have been founded with names like Planetary Resources and Deep Space Industries, their missions woven from the dream of harvesting wealth beyond Earth. Nations, too, imagine futures where space mining fuels new industries, strengthens economies, ensures dominance among the stars. The dream, however, is not only about wealth, it is also about freedom from limits. On Earth, resources are finite. Metals must be dug from mountains, oceans drained for minerals, ecosystems disrupted to meet human need. But in space, in this boundless night, the resources appear infinite. A vast library of stone and metal floats untapped, promising not only prosperity, but release from the burdens we place on Earth. Imagine a future where asteroids provide the metals to build spacecraft, habitats, entire civilizations beyond the planet, where Earth's forests and mountains are spared because we no longer need to dig them apart. The dream becomes more than wealth. It becomes sustainability, a promise that perhaps humanity can grow without consuming itself. And yet, dreams always carry shadows. You recall the stories of Earth's past. The gold rushes that led to both fortune and suffering, the oil booms that brought power and pollution, the resource wars that scarred nations. Might the dream of asteroid riches awaken the same patterns in space? Will infinite wealth bring peace or conflict, sharing or greed? You breathe and let the question soften. For now, the dream is still only a dream. The asteroids drift untouched, their metals still asleep in silence. Humanity's reach has not yet broken their solitude, but the vision grows brighter, closer, each year. Rockets grow stronger, technology more capable, investment more daring. The lullaby of the stars is slowly becoming a call to action. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a great ocean in ancient times. Before you lies a horizon no one has yet crossed. You imagine distant lands, unknown treasures, new beginnings. That feeling of possibility, of mystery, of wealth beyond sight. This is how humanity now looks at space. The asteroids are our horizon, our unclaimed shores, our infinite promise. But wealth is never only about numbers. It is about meaning. What will platinum mean when it is no longer scarce? What will gold mean when its abundance fills markets? Economies depend on rarity, on limits. To flood Earth with cosmic riches might unravel value itself. And so you realize, infinite wealth is not a simple dream. It is a paradox, both blessing and challenge, both hope and uncertainty. The asteroids shimmer in your mind's eye, glowing faintly in the bluish light of distant suns. They hum with promise, but also with complexity. To reach them is to step into a new kind of economy, one where Earth's rules may no longer apply. The dream of wealth leads naturally into the question of value. As you float, the dream continues to expand. You imagine futures where metals mined from asteroids are used not only for profit, but for creation. Vast solar panels built in orbit, capturing sunlight to power entire planets. Space stations woven from asteroid iron, spinning gently as homes among the stars. Colonies on Mars supplied with water drawn from icy rocks. Wealth here is not coins or markets, but survival, growth, expansion. And beyond that, the dream of equity. Perhaps asteroid riches could be shared, ensuring resources for all humanity, lifting nations from poverty, balancing the scales of inequality. Perhaps the cosmos hold a chance to write a different story than the one Earth has repeated so often. A story where wealth is not hoarded, but shared. Where resources are not fought over, but embraced as common heritage. The stars continue to sing their quiet lullaby. You feel calm, held by the rhythm of possibility. You realize that the dream of infinite wealth is not just about asteroids. It is about humanity itself, about how we choose to live, what we value, how we grow. The asteroids are mirrors, reflecting not only light, but our deepest hopes and fears. You breathe and feel your chest rise and fall. You see yourself standing again among the asteroids, each one glowing softly, each one whispering the same promise. I hold enough to change everything. But change is never simple. Change ripples outward, altering more than we can imagine. And so, in this gentle quiet, your mind turns to the next question. If the asteroids hold wealth enough to transform the world, what will this do to our economies? To the fragile balance of value, price, and scarcity that underlies human life? The dream of infinite wealth naturally leads to the economics of the void. You drift further into space, surrounded by the silent chorus of the asteroids. The lullaby of stars is softened into a hum of possibility, and the shimmering dream of infinite wealth still glows in your mind. But now, a quieter question rises. If so much treasure truly rests in the void, what happens to value itself? What does it mean for economies when scarcity is no longer the rule, when abundance flows from the stars? On Earth, the rhythm of economics has always been written in limits. Gold gleams because it is rare. Platinum commands high price because its veins are few. Scarcity makes desire, and desire creates markets. Entire nations have grown wealthy from resources held in small supply, and others have bent under the absence of those riches. The pulse of scarcity has guided the rise and fall of civilizations. Here in space, that rhythm falters. The asteroids hold metals in quantities Earth cannot imagine. Platinum by the ton, iron by the mountain, nickel and cobalt in rivers of ore. To flood markets with such abundance could dissolve value itself. Platinum might no longer be a symbol of wealth, but of dust. Gold might lose its glitter in the glare of oversupply. Scarcity, the heart of economics, may shatter beneath the weight of cosmic abundance. You imagine it softly. A single asteroid brought to Earth, its cargo of platinum released into markets. At first, celebration. Prices fall. Industries flourish. Technology built with cheaper metals spreads more easily. But then, confusion. Economies that depended on scarcity falter. Investors pull back. The meaning of wealth shifts overnight. What was once priceless becomes ordinary. This is the paradox of the void. To dream of infinite wealth is to dream of an economy turned upside down. To mine the asteroids is not only to add resources, but to alter the very definition of value. And in this alteration, uncertainty arises. Think of water in a desert. Every drop is precious, cherished, fought over. Then imagine a river arriving, endless and flowing. The desert blooms, but the meaning of a drop dissolves. It is no longer treasure, but common. Scarcity becomes abundance, and the old ways of valuing fade. This is the economic ripple of asteroid mining. The void does not simply offer treasure. It offers transformation, the kind that spreads through markets like waves, unsettling, unpredictable. You breathe deeply, and the thought takes shape as a metaphor. Economies are fragile tapestries, woven from scarcity, demand, trust. To tug at one thread is to ripple the whole design. Asteroids hold the power not just to add thread, but to rewrite the pattern entirely. Yet abundance need not be destructive. With care, with planning, wealth in the void could build new foundations. Rather than collapsing under oversupply, humanity could reshape its values. Perhaps platinum becomes not a symbol of wealth, but a common tool for clean energy. Perhaps gold is no longer currency, but catalyst. Perhaps scarcity shifts away from metals and into other realms. Creativity, innovation, ideas. Already, economists ponder these futures. They speak of post-scarcity economies, worlds where the basic needs of humanity are met through abundance, freeing people to focus on growth beyond survival. Asteroid mining could be a step toward that dream. But dreams are fragile, easily reshaped by human choice. The void, after all, is not empty. It is a mirror reflecting our values. To fill Earth with metals is to confront the question, what do we truly treasure? Is wealth measured in money, in markets, in rare objects, or in the well-being of people, the balance of life, the pursuit of knowledge? History whispers caution. Gold rushes of the past brought fortunes, but also chaos. Oil booms reshaped nations, but left scars on Earth's surface. Each abundance carried both promise and peril. The economics of the void may be no different, unless guided with wisdom. As you float among the asteroids, you imagine markets trembling, nations debating, corporations calculating. You see excitement, but also fear. Abundance has always carried both. Yet in the calm of space, the thought softens. Economies are not fixed stone. They are living systems capable of adaptation, capable of renewal. Perhaps the economics of the void will not destroy, but transform. Perhaps humanity will learn to measure wealth differently, to see abundance not as threat, but as chance, to redefine prosperity in ways that honor both Earth and space. Your breath slows, and you picture again the asteroids drifting silently. They do not know scarcity or abundance. They are what they are, fragments of stone and metal, humming with time. It is only humanity that assigns value, that shapes meaning. The economics of the void is not written in the rocks. It is written in us. As you rest in this thought, you feel a quiet acceptance. The void offers wealth, yes, but more than that, it offers reflection, a chance to ask not just how we mine, but why, not just how we spend, but what we seek. The economics of the void is the economics of choice. And so, the asteroids continue their slow dance, patient, eternal. They wait for no one, yet they invite everyone. Their silence asks a gentle question. Will humanity meet this wealth with wisdom or with haste? The dream of infinite wealth lingers in your thoughts as you drift through the stillness of space. The asteroids gleam faintly in starlight, their silence profound. Yet, when you look at them through the eyes of history, you see not only treasure but also echoes of other times when humanity discovered sudden wealth and rushed to claim it. You begin to see the story of space not as something entirely new, but as a reflection of old patterns written once more among the stars. On Earth, gold has always sung a hypnotic song. In California, in Australia, in South Africa, its glitter lured thousands into frenzy. Men abandoned homes, women left villages, entire communities uprooted themselves, chasing the shimmer of fortune. They came with picks and pans, dreams and desperation. Some struck riches, many struck only exhaustion. The gold rush was not only about metal. It was about human longing, amplified by scarcity and the sudden promise of abundance. The oil booms followed a similar rhythm. Black liquid bubbling from the ground, wealth flowing in rivers, cities rising in deserts. Each rush brought change, reshaping economies, stirring inequality, altering landscapes forever. History remembers the winners, those who built empires, but it also holds the stories of those left behind, the land scarred, the balance disturbed. Now imagine that same rush transposed onto the canvas of space. Asteroid mining promises riches beyond gold, beyond oil, beyond any boom Earth has ever known. Platinum by the ton, gold by the mountain, nickel and iron in quantities vast enough to build cities among the stars. The whisper of cosmic fortune already calls to visionaries, corporations, nations. The story of the gold rush repeats, but now the horizon is not across a continent, but across the void. You breathe deeply, and the image unfolds. Rockets rising like wagons, companies racing like prospectors, nations positioning like empires. The asteroid become new frontiers, and humanity once again faces a choice between frenzy and wisdom. The metaphor of rush carries both beauty and warning. Gold rushes brought innovation, communities, new beginnings. They also brought exploitation, inequality, violence, and disappointment. The cosmic gold rush could be the same, a chant for abundance or a mirror of greed. In your mind, you walk slowly through a landscape of history. You see miners in California, their hands calloused, their eyes filled with hope. You see oil barons towering wealth and power. You see ordinary families caught in the tides of resource fever. Each scene whispers softly, abundance is never only gift. It is test. The asteroids drift quietly above, indifferent to ownership. They wait with patience older than humanity itself. But already on Earth, the rush has begun, not with shovels or picks, but with treaties, investments, prototypes of robotic miners. The cosmic gold rush is still in its dawn, but its energy hums in boardrooms, in laboratories, in governments. The same fever, the same hunger, dressed in new clothing. And you realize this rush is not only about wealth, but about power. Whoever reaches first may shape the rules. Whoever controls resources may control futures. The echo of empire lingers in the silence of the void. The cosmic gold rush could divide as easily as it could unite. But there's another path, a gentler vision, where history's lessons guide choice. Imagine if nations approached the asteroids not as competitors, but as partners. Imagine if the wealth of space were framed not as a prize for the few, but as a shared inheritance for the many. The rush would not be frenzy, but harmony, not chaos, but care. As you float in thought, you imagine the asteroids not as gold fields, but as gardens. To mine them is not to strip, but to harvest, carefully, deliberately, with respect for balance. Each extraction a choice, each use a chance to build wisely. The cosmic gold rush could be more than a repetition of Earth's past. It could be a new story, written with gentler hands. Still, the question remains. Who decides? Who owns the sky? Who sets the rules? Who says what is fair? History whispers one thing, but the future of space whispers another. The rush is not only about resources, but about law, about governance, about the meaning of ownership itself. You exhale slowly, and the asteroids gleam faintly, their light a reminder that time stretches endlessly. Humanity's rush is brief compared to their patience. Yet within that brief rush lies a chance to reshape history, to repeat old mistakes, or to learn, to grow, to share. The cosmic gold rush, you realize, is both memory and dream, a mirror of Earth's past, and a glimpse of humanity's possible future. Its outcome rests not in the rocks themselves, but in the choices we carry within. And so the chapter quiets, leaving you drifting once more among silent wanderers. Their surfaces shine faintly with imagined riches. Their silence hums with potential. You feel the weight of history in their glow, and the pull of questions not yet answered. The asteroids still drift around you, slow and patient. Their silence invites you deeper, not only into dreams of wealth, but into the oldest of human questions. Who can claim what lies above? Ownership has always shaped the course of history. On Earth, land was divided, oceans claimed, borders drawn and redrawn. Nations rose around maps. Wars were fought over lines. Yet here, in the vastness of space, no lines are visible. No borders are carved across the starlit dark. The sky is wide and endless, and the question lingers softly. Who owns it? You breathe and feel the stillness. The sky has always seemed like common ground. For millennia, humanity has looked upward and shared the same stars. Farmers planted by their light. Sailors navigated by their patterns. Poets wrote beneath their glow. The heavens belonged to no single person, no single nation. They were inheritance, dreamscape, mystery. But when humanity first reached beyond Earth, the question grew sharper. Satellites circled, rockets launched, astronauts touched the moon. What was once unreachable became tangible, and with tangibility came questions of possession. Could a nation claim the moon? Could a company stake ownership of an asteroid? Could a flag, planted in dust, mark territory? In 1967, the world answered softly through the Outer Space Treaty, a pact signed by many nations, agreeing that space is a province of all humankind. No nation may claim sovereignty over the moon or any celestial body. No government may declare ownership of asteroids or planets. The heavens, by law, are beyond borders. This treaty, like a lullaby of cooperation, was written in the early days of the space age, when superpowers sought to calm their rivalries. It set a tone of peace, declaring that exploration must serve all humanity. Yet, like all lullabies, it left silences between its notes. It spoke of nations, but not of private companies. It spoke of sovereignty, but not of resources. You float and ponder gaps. If no one can own the moon, can someone own the water within it? If no one can claim an asteroid, can someone claim the metals they extract? Is there a difference between owning the land and owning a harvest? The treaty did not say, and in that silence, new debates were born. Nations have begun to test the edges. The United States, Luxembourg, the United Arab Emirates, and others have passed laws recognizing private rights to space resources. Their message is clear. While you cannot own an asteroid itself, you may own what you take from it. Other nations disagree, raising concerns that such claims bend the spirit of the treaty. The harmony of space law hums with both cooperation and tension. The question of ownership is more than legal. It is philosophical. To own something is to separate it from the whole, to draw a line around it, to say this is mine. But space resists such lines. The asteroids do not belong to one place or people. They drift freely, ancient and indifferent. To assign ownership feels both practical and strange, both necessary and incomplete. You imagine space as a great ocean. Ships sail upon it, and islands float within it. Nations once claimed oceans, then released them, agreeing that the seas are shared, though resources may be harvested. Space may follow this model, or it may not. The economics of the void push toward ownership, but the dream of the sky resists. And so humanity stands at a threshold. Ownership could become a source of conflict, nations racing not only to mine, but to control. Or it could become a chance for new forms of cooperation, shared management, common benefit. The path is unwritten, and the stars wait patiently. As you float, you realize that ownership is also about responsibility. To claim something is not only to benefit from it, but to care for it. If asteroids are harvested, who will ensure balance, fairness, sustainability? Ownership cannot be only about gain. It must also be about stewardship, about the general tending of resources that belong, in some way, to all. You breathe slowly, and the thought soothes you. Perhaps ownership of the sky will not be the ownership of possession, but the ownership of care. Not flags and borders, but shared trust. Not greed, but guardianship. The asteroids shimmer faintly, their metals glinting in distant light. They hold wealth, yes, but also wisdom. They remind you that value is not only measured in currency. It is measured in how we choose to treat what we discover, how we choose to live with what we claim. The question remains unresolved, hanging softly in the stillness. Who owns the sky? The treaties whisper one answer. Corporations suggest another. Philosophers propose yet more. And perhaps the truth is that no one owns it, and yet everyone does. The sky belongs not to possession, but to presence. It belongs to those who look up and wonder, to those who care and dream. And so you rest in that wonder, held by the uncertainty, comforted by the thought that questions themselves can be lullabies. The asteroids drift on, unclaimed, unbothered, their silence timeless. Humanity's maps and laws will come later. For now, the stars remain wide and free. The stars continue their slow shimmer, and the asteroids drift with the patience of ages. They are silent, unclaimed, their metals gleaming faintly beneath the veil of cosmic dust. Yet even here in this quiet emptiness, invisible hands shape their fate. You cannot see them, but you feel them, the silent gatekeepers of space. On Earth, wealth has never flowed without boundaries. Behind every mine, every port, every market, there are laws, rules that decide who may take how much and under what conditions. Some rules are just, others flawed, but all act as gatekeepers, invisible sentinels that channel human ambition. Space, though vast and borderless, is no different. The asteroids may spin freely, but the hands that reach toward them are guided by laws, treaties, agreements. The Outer Space Treaty was the first guardian, whispering that no nation may claim sovereignty, that the stars belong to all. But as rockets grow stronger, as companies build machines to touch stone, new guardians emerge. You imagine them not as soldiers or guards, but as quiet figures standing at cosmic gates. They hold no weapons, but pens. They speak not with commands, but with laws. Their silence is not emptiness, but order. These gatekeepers are international treaties, national regulations, licensing bodies, councils of nations. Luxembourg, a small country on Earth, has become one such gatekeeper. In 2017, it passed laws granting companies the right to own resources they mine in space. The United States followed with its own legal frameworks. The United Arab Emirates and Japan, too, began shaping rules. Each law is like a door, opened by one nation, offering passage to those who dare. Yet not all nations agree. Some argue these doors defy the spirit of shared inheritance. They warn that unilateral laws could lead to conflict, to unequal access, to new empires in the void. They ask, should the wealth of asteroids be managed privately or collectively? Should the gatekeepers be many or one? You drift in thought, and the metaphor grows. Imagine the asteroids as a vast orchard heavy with fruit. The orchard belongs to no one, yet nations begin to set up gates around certain trees, giving keys to their citizens. Others stand outside, watching, uncertain whether they, too, will have access. The orchard is abundant, but its harvest depends on who holds the keys. The silent gatekeepers hold immense power, though they rarely appear in headlines. Their decisions will shape who profits, who participates, who is left behind. They are the unseen architects of humanity's expansion into space. And yet, law is not only about restriction. It can also be about protection. The gatekeepers can prevent chaos, ensuring that the rush for resources does not become reckless. They can demand sustainability, equity, safety. They can set boundaries that transform greed into cooperation. You exhale slowly and picture a balance. On one side, freedom, the ability for companies to innovate, to explore, to invest. On the other side, fairness, the need for all humanity to benefit, not only a few. The silent gatekeepers stand in the middle, weighing each side, deciding how to guide the flow. Some dream of new institutions, an international body that manages asteroid resources, distributing benefits fairly, like a cosmic steward. Others prefer national leadership, letting competition drive progress. The debate continues quietly, behind closed doors, in treaties and conferences. You do not hear their voices, but their choices hum through the silence of the void. And beyond law lies ethics. Gatekeepers are not only regulators, but guardians of humanity's values. Will they allow unchecked exploitation or insist on balance? Will they guard the idea that space is for all or yield to the power of the strongest? Their silence holds both promise and risk. You look again at the asteroids, their surfaces glowing faintly in the starlight. They wait without care for ownership, for laws, for treaties. They have drifted for billions of years, untouched, unclaimed. The gatekeepers' rules are human constructs, fragile compared to the patience of stone. And yet, those rules will decide how humanity enters this new frontier. Perhaps, you think, the true role of the silent gatekeepers is not to own or control, but to remind us of responsibility, to whisper that wealth without wisdom becomes ruin, to guide humanity toward choices that honor both earth and sky. The asteroids remain quiet, but within their silence you hear an echo, the hum of laws, the whisper of agreements, the murmur of diplomats shaping futures. The gatekeepers stand unseen, yet their influence stretches across the void, subtle but profound. And as you drift deeper into thought, you realize that the gates are not only legal or political, they are also technological. Machines, rockets, and robots are gatekeepers too, deciding who can reach, who can harvest, who can dream. The laws of physics are as binding as the laws of nations. Together, they weave the boundaries of possibility. The sky remains vast, but humanity will pass through it guided by silent sentinels. And so, the question lingers gently. Will these gatekeepers protect harmony or deepen division? Will they open doors to all, or only a few? The answer waits in the stillness, unwritten. The silence of space is unbroken. Yet in your mind you begin to imagine new shapes drifting among the asteroids. Not just stones and dust, but machines, delicate, gleaming, purposeful. They move slowly, almost reverently, extending arms, unfolding wings, humming with quiet energy. They are humanity's hands stretched into the void, tools of harvest and exploration, gardeners tending the endless cosmic field. For as long as you have lived, machines have been your companions. They build your homes, weave your clothes, carry your messages, fly your planes. But here in the dark between planets, they take on a new role. Emissaries of Earth, sent to touch what human hands cannot reach. You picture a spacecraft approaching an asteroid. It is small compared to the vast rock, a fragile seed drifting toward a mountain. Solar panels unfurl like petals. Drinking the light of a distant Sunday, robotic arms extend, steady and precise, reaching gently toward the stone. Cameras blink like eyes. Sensors hum like ears. Drills whisper against ancient regolith. The machine is alive with purpose, though it knows no thought of its own. Already, this is not only imagination. Humanity has touched asteroids before. NASA's OSIRIS-REx spacecraft brushed Bennu, scooping a handful of dust to carry home. Japan's Hayabusa missions reached Itachi and Ryugu, retrieving precious grains of stone. These were not extractions of wealth, but first touches, handshakes across time, gestures of curiosity. Yet they show what is possible. The machines of the future will go further. Some will anchor themselves with harpoons, gripping the surface of drifting rocks. Others will melt ice with sunlight, drawing water that can be split into fuel. Some will grind stone, separating metal from dust, feeding it into furnaces that smelt in weightlessness. Each design is a dream translated into metal and wire, a vision of humanity's reach made tangible. And yet, as you picture them, you feel not the cold of industry, but the warmth of care. These machines are not conquerors. They are gardeners, cultivating in silence. They prune the void with precision, collect with delicacy, extract with patience. They are caretakers of a cosmic meadow, bringing it abundance home. You breathe, and the metaphor deepens. Machines among the stars are like bees in a vast celestial hive. They move from rock to rock, gathering resources, returning with treasures that fuel the colony of Earth. Their hum is soft, steady, a lullaby of technology woven into the silence of space. Still, you feel the paradox. Machines extend human ambition, but they also carry human flaws. They are built by hands that seek both wonder and profit. Their design reflects choices, efficiency or care, haste or patience. Will these machines harvest with balance, or strip with urgency? Will they tend the garden, or exhaust it? History whispers again. Machines once tilled Earth's soil, promising abundance, but sometimes brought exhaustion to land. Machines mine coal and oil, fueling progress, but also scars. The machines among the stars will carry this memory, this dual possibility. They can be guardians, or they can be plunderers. The choice lies not in the metal of their frames, but in the intentions of their makers. And yet, even in this tension, you feel awe. to build machines that travel millions of miles, that anchor themselves to drifting stones, that harvest metals forged in ancient stars. This is a kind of poetry, a merging of human ingenuity and cosmic silence, a dance of creation and discovery. Imagine now drifting beside one of these machines. Its panels glint softly in the sunlight. Its arms extend slowly, almost like the gesture of a tree reaching for water. Dust rises in gentle clouds as it works, particles shimmering like starlight. There is no violence in its motion, only calm precision. You feel yourself relax, lulled by its rhythm, soothed by the hum of progress carried out with care. The machines are not alone. They will travel in swarms, fleets of harvesters and carriers, each with a task. Some will scout, mapping the shapes and spins of asteroids. Others will collect, digging and sorting. Others still will transport, carrying metals back to stations or factories in orbit. Together, they will weave a new economy, a new ecology among the stars. And perhaps they will not only take. Perhaps some will give, planning sensors, monitoring balance, even seeding asteroids with microbes or technologies that turn them into gardens of possibility. Machines could become not only harvesters, but creators, shaping futures we cannot yet see. You breathe slowly and the thought settles. Machines among the stars are extensions of humanity's imagination. They are our fingers in the void, our tools of touch. Through them, we do not only extract. We also explore, we also learn, we also wonder. Their presence is not just practical. It is symbolic, a sign that humanity has stepped beyond the cradle of Earth. The asteroids shimmer, patient as always. The machines hum quietly, like bees in an endless field. Together, they form a partnership, ancient stone and new metal, silence and hum, memory and possibility. And as you drift in this vision, you feel calm. The machines do not frighten you. They comfort you, reminding you that even in the vastness of space, humanity carries tools of care. They remind you that progress can be quiet, that harvesting can be gentle, that technology can hum like a lullaby. The chapter closes softly, with the asteroids and machines drifting together in timeless rhythm, ancient companions joined by new gardeners, tending the endless meadow of stars. The dream of machines among the stars lingers in your mind. You see them gliding softly toward drifting stones, their arms extending with precision, their hum like bees in a cosmic meadow. The vision is gentle, almost effortless. And yet, beneath this calm image lies another truth. Nothing in space is simple, and every harvest comes at cost. On Earth, you know the feeling of cost. To plant seeds, you must first till the soil. To build homes, you must cut timber, forge steel, pour foundations. Every creation carries effort. Every harvest requires labor. In space, this truth grows larger. The stones may shimmer with wealth, but to reach them, to touch them, to bring their metals home demands sacrifice, patience, and staggering resources. You breathe, and the thought unfolds like a slow wave. The costs of cosmic harvesting are not only measured in money, but in energy, time, and risk. They are like rivers that must be crossed before the orchard of asteroids can be reached. First comes the cost of distance. Even the closest asteroids drift millions of miles away. To launch machines across this gulf requires rockets of immense power, fueled by engines that consume resources in their own right. Each journey is a delicate calculation of trajectory, timing, and energy. The farther the rock, the greater the cost. Distance in space is currency. Then comes the cost of weight. Every machine, every drill, every arm must be launched from Earth's gravity well. Rockets strain against the pull of the planet, carrying each kilogram upward with fire and thunder. Launching is like climbing a mountain taller than any on Earth, carrying every tool on your back. To mine in space is not only to build machines, but to lift them skyward at immense expense. And beyond distance and weight lies the cost of time. Missions stretch across years. A spacecraft launched today may not reach its asteroid for seasons upon seasons. Years may pass before samples return, decades before industries flourish. Investors must wait, nations must plan, engineers must persist. In the economics of the void, time itself is treasure. You picture these costs as tolls along a cosmic road. To reach the orchard of asteroids, humanity must pay in distance, in weight, in time. The road is long, and only those with patience and resources can travel it. But there are other costs still quieter and more profound. The cost of uncertainty. Each asteroid is different, its composition unknown until touched. Some may prove rich, others barren. Some may spin too quickly, others crumble when drilled. To invest in them is to plant seeds in unknown soil, not knowing if they will sprout. Risk comes beneath every calculation. And then there is the cost of failure. Rockets can explode, machines can break, trajectories can falter. Years of planning and billions of dollars can vanish in seconds. The void does not forgive easily. Its silence holds no guarantees. You exhale slowly, letting the thought settle. These costs, though immense, are not deterrents. They are part of the rhythm of exploration. Humanity has always paid such tolls. To cross oceans, ships were built at great expense. To build railroads, fortunes were risked, lives were lost. To reach the moon, nations poured treasure into rockets, knowing failure was possible. Each frontier demanded cost, and each cost became part of history's song. Asteroid mining will be no different. Its dream of infinite wealth will be tempered by immense investments, by risks carried in silence. The cosmic orchard is abundant, but its harvest is not free, and beyond material costs lies another, subtler price, the cost of Earth. To chase the wealth of asteroids, humanity must decide what it leaves behind. Resources poured into space might be taken from other needs, from health, from education, from the care of the planet itself. Ambition in the void may carry opportunity costs at home. The balance between stars and soil is delicate, and the choice is never simple. Yet, within these costs lies possibility. To invest in cosmic harvesting is also to invest in innovation. Rockets built for mining may one day carry passengers. Technologies designed for extraction may inspire cleaner industries on Earth. The costs, though steep, can ripple outward, bringing unexpected gifts. You breathe deeply, and the metaphor returns. To plant an orchard, one must first buy seeds, tend soil, wait for years. The early effort is immense, but the harvest, if tended well, can feed generations. The cost of cosmic harvesting may seem overwhelming now, but they are seeds of a future yet unseen. The asteroids drift silently, patient as ever. They ask nothing, demand nothing. Their wealth is locked within them, waiting. It is humanity that must decide whether to pay the price, whether the dream of abundance is worth the toll. And as you rest in this reflection, you feel calm. The costs are real, but so is the possibility. Nothing of value comes without effort. Nothing of wonder arrives without patience. The void hums with challenge, but also with promise. The chapter closes quietly, with a vision of asteroids glowing faintly in starlight, their riches still untouched, their silence still unbroken. The orchard waits, and the tolls of the road remain. The asteroids continue their slow drift through silence, patient as ever. Their metals gleam faintly in starlight, their wealth still untouched. You have already seen the dream of infinite riches, felt the weight of laws and gatekeepers, and counted the steep cost of harvesting. Now, a deeper question unfolds. If such wealth is brought home, how will humanity measure it? What becomes of currency when the cosmos enters the marketplace? On Earth, money has always been a mirror of scarcity. Gold became precious because it was rare, silver because it was limited, paper notes because they represented value tied to resources. Currency is not only a medium of exchange. It is a reflection of what societies believe to be scarce, stable, and worth desiring. But in the silence of the void, scarcity itself may dissolve. A single metallic asteroid could carry more platinum than all the reserves of Earth combined. Gold, once a symbol of eternal rarity, could become as common as iron. Metals that once defined empires could pour into markets, altering value at its core. You breathe and imagine the ripple. A cargo ship returns from an asteroid. Its holds heavy with platinum. At first, markets celebrate. Prices fall, industries flourish, new technologies spread. But soon confusion. The very abundance that promises wealth also undermines it. Platinum loses its rarity. Gold loses its shine. What was once a symbol of luxury becomes ordinary, and money tied to it unravels. This is the paradox of cosmic currency. The void offers resources in abundance, but abundance challenges the foundation of value itself. To flood Earth with riches is to dissolve the meaning of treasure. The scarcity that once defined currency may fade, replaced by something new. Perhaps, then, the cosmos will reshape not only resources but money itself. Perhaps value will no longer be tied to metals or materials, but to energy, to creativity, to resilience. Imagine a world where sunlight harvested in orbit becomes currency, kilowatts as coins, beams of light as bills. Imagine a world where water drawn from asteroids fuels rockets, and that fuel itself becomes a measure worth. Currency could shift from matter to motion, from metal to momentum. Already, economists whisper of post-scarcity futures. Futures where the basic needs of humanity are met not by hoarded resources, but by abundant flows. In such a world, money may not vanish, but it may transform. It may become less about survival and more about coordination, less about ownership and more about exchange. The cosmos invites these possibilities gently, like ripples across a pond. Drop a pebble of abundance into Earth's markets, and the waves spread outward. Industries shift, governments adapt, societies rethink. Currency is no longer fixed stone, but living water reshaped by every ripple. You breathe deeply, and the metaphor expands. Imagine standing by a river at dusk. Coins once clinked in your hand, heavy with certainty. Now, the river flows freely, carrying endless droplets. The coin dissolves, replaced by current, by motion, by flow. The currency of the cosmos may be like this: less solid, more fluid, less bound to scarcity, more shaped by abundance. And yet, challenges remain. Money is not only economics. It is psychology, trust, story. People believe in currency because they agree to its meaning. If asteroid wealth arrives, societies must agree again, must redefine what they value, must choose new anchors for worth. Without agreement, abundance becomes chaos. History hums softly here. When gold standards collapsed, when fiat currencies rose, when digital coins appeared, each transition brought uncertainty, but each also brought adaptation. Humanity has always redefined value, always found new measures. The cosmos will ask us to do the same, but on a grander scale. Perhaps, too, the cosmos will create new currencies altogether. Tokens of access to space, credits for harvesting rights, cooperative shares in orbital industries. The currency of the cosmos may not be coins or notes at all, but agreements, digital ledgers, invisible systems of trust. Already, whispers of blockchain, of space credits, of resource tokens echo in financial imaginations. The future currency may be as boundless as the void itself. You let the thought expand into quiet wonder. The asteroids are not just rocks of metal. They are catalysts of change, not only in economics but in meaning. They challenge humanity to ask, what do we truly value? What do we measure as wealth? Is it gold and platinum, or is it time, creativity, connection, harmony? The stars shine faintly above, timeless and calm. They remind you that value is not inherent in stone or metal. Value is a story we tell, a meaning we agree upon, a trust we hold together. The currency of the cosmos is not written in the asteroids. It is written in us. You exhale slowly, letting the calm deepen. The asteroids continue their silent drift, their wealth unspent, their meaning unwritten. The question remains open, gentle, unresolved. What will humanity choose to count when the cosmos offers abundance beyond measure? The chapter closes quietly, leaving you with the image of coins dissolving into starlight, of rivers of light flowing endlessly, of money reshaped into something new and unknown. The asteroids continue their slow turn in silence, their patience unbroken by time. They shimmer faintly with metals, whispering promises of wealth, of abundance, of futures yet to be shaped. But alongside the dream of riches comes a gentler, deeper voice, not one of economics or law, but of conscience. You begin to hear the question not of how we will mine the asteroids, but of why and for whom. This is a question of ethics, the quiet orbit of fairness around every human choice. On Earth, history is heavy with stories of resources: gold, oil, coal, forests, oceans. Each have been sought, extracted, divided. And with each pursuit came questions of justice. Who benefits? Who suffers? Who decides? Some grew rich. Others remained poor. Some lands flourished. Others were scarred. Each rush for wealth carried both prosperity and pain. As you drift among the asteroids, you feel those stories rise again. The cosmic gold rush, the cost of harvesting, the dreams of infinite wealth, all hum with possibility. But beneath them, another hum grows louder, the call to fairness. If the asteroids are mined, who will own their riches? If their metals are harvested, who will share in the benefits? If the void is touched, will all humanity gain, or only a few? You breathe deeply, and the question unfolds like a spiral. Some argue that those who take the risk, who build the machines, who spend the money, should claim the reward. It is, they say, the natural order of effort and profit. Others whisper that space belongs to all, that its gifts must be shared, that no single nation or company has a right to hoard the sky. Both arguments carry weight. Both echo with reason. The ethics of orbit lie in this tension, between innovation and equity, between ambition and justice, between the rights of the few and the inheritance of the many. You imagine, for a moment, a small nation watching rockets rise. It has no spacecraft of its own, no industries in orbit, no means to reach the asteroids. Will it be left behind, excluded from the wealth of the cosmos? Or will it be invited to share, to benefit, to join in the harvest? Ethics asks us to look beyond power, beyond profit, and see the faces of all humanity in the glow of the stars. And ethics reaches further still, not only who benefits, but how we treat what we touch. The asteroids are ancient wanderers, fragments of creation. To strip them recklessly is to repeat old mistakes, to see the cosmos only as quarry. But to harvest with care, with reverence, with balance, this is to honor the story they carry, the memory they hold. Ethics in orbit is not only about humans, but about harmony with the universe itself. You exhale slowly and a memory stirs. On Earth, rivers once ran clean, forests stretched endlessly, skies shone unbroken. Exploitation changed them, sometimes irreversibly. The cosmos offers a second chance, a chance to approach resources with new wisdom. Will humanity seize it, or stumble into the same patterns? The answer rests not in technology, but in conscience. Some philosophers whisper of cosmic stewardship, the idea that space is not property, but trust, that asteroids are not prizes, but responsibilities, that to mine them is not to conquer, but to care. This vision paints ethics not as barrier, but as guide, a gentle compass pointing toward futures of balance and fairness. And yet, the voices of ambition remain strong. Companies argue that without profit, there is no progress. Nations argue that without control, there is no security. Ethics must find its place among these louder songs, soft but steady, like a background rhythm. You picture this rhythm as an orbit itself, invisible yet constant. Every rocket that launches, every drill that turns, every treaty that is signed moves within this orbit. Ethics does not stop the motion. It shapes it, steadies it, asks it to remain balanced. The asteroids shimmer faintly, their silence holding no preference. They do not care who mines them, who profits, who argues. They are indifferent, eternal. It is humanity that must choose what meaning to give, what fairness to pursue, what justice to uphold. And as you float in thought, you realize that ethics in orbit is not only about laws or treaties. It is about imagination. Can we imagine futures where wealth is shared, where responsibility guides action, where harmony is chosen over haste? If we can imagine it, perhaps we can build it. You feel calm as the chapter draws to its close. The stars shine softly, the asteroids drift patiently, and your breath moves in rhythm with their silence. The question remains, open and unresolved, but gentle. In the pursuit of riches, will humanity remember fairness? The asteroids drift quietly around you, patient as always. Their silence is unchanged, their glow untouched by human hands. Yet in your imagination, you begin to see reflections on their surfaces. Not just metals and minerals, but stories. Stories of greed and of generosity, of mistakes and of growth. In their stillness, the asteroids become mirrors, showing humanity both its shadows and its lights. Greed has always followed resources. On Earth, gold lured explorers across oceans, sometimes at the cost of entire cultures. Oil enriched nations, but also deepened inequality. Diamonds glistened in markets, even as they fueled conflict. Each resource carried both wealth and wounds. History whispers of this again and again. When riches are discovered, shadows gather. You imagine, for a moment, a cosmic rush without restraint. Rockets launch in quick succession, each racing to stake claim. Corporations push deeper into the void, each competing for the richest stones. Prices fall, markets shake, nations jostle for advantage. In the frenzy, fairness fades, sustainability vanishes, caution is forgotten. The asteroids, ancient wanderers, are stripped with haste, their wisdom ignored. This is a shadow of greed, hunger without patience, possession without care. But shadows are never the whole story. Where greed moves, so too can hope. Humanity has also known generosity, cooperation, balance. After wars, nations have formed unions. After exploitation, people have raised voices for justice. New laws, new visions, new movements have emerged, reminding us that we are capable of more than hunger. You breathe slowly and let the balance unfold. Greed and hope are not separate worlds. They are threads woven into every story. To mine the asteroids is to choose which thread we will follow more strongly. Hope hums softly in possible futures. Imagine nations working together, sharing both risks and benefits. Imagine corporations guided by ethics, building not only for profit, but for sustainability. Imagine asteroid wealth funding schools, hospitals, research, not only for powerful, but for the many. The void could become not a site of conflict, but of common ground. And beyond human fairness lies a deeper hope still, that space itself would teach us, that the silence of the asteroids, their patience, their age, might remind us of perspective. That wealth is not only material, but also wisdom, the wisdom to pause, to consider, to act with care. You recall how light behaves in darkness. A single flame is enough to chase away shadow. A single star is enough to guide a traveler. Likewise, a single act of fairness, a single choice of cooperation, a single law shaped with justice can ripple outward, illuminating futures otherwise hidden. The asteroids shimmer faintly, their metals glowing like lanterns in the void. You realize that they carry within them both danger and promise. Greed could turn them into scars of exploitation. Hope could turn them into bridges of unity. The choice is not written in stone. It rests within humanity. And yet, greed and hope are not simple opposites. They often coexist, intertwining like vines. A corporation may seek profit, yet also innovate in ways that benefit all. A nation may act out of self-interest, yet also contribute to shared progress. Shadows and lights move together, and ethics becomes the art of guiding light to grow stronger than dark. You breathe, and the thought softens into calm. The shadows are real, but so is the light. The story of asteroid mining has not yet been written. Its pages are blank, waiting for the choices of humanity. The asteroids remain patient. They do not urge haste. They do not demand greed. They do not insist on hope. They simply drift, carrying within them possibilities. Humanity, gazing upward, must decide which reflection it will see in their surfaces, the shadow of greed or the light of hope. The chapter closes quietly, leaving you with the image of asteroids glowing softly in the dark, half in shadow, half in light, like mirrors of human choice. You float in silence, the asteroids surrounding you like a scattered classroom of stone. They drift slowly, each one an ancient fragment, each one carrying within it a memory of creation. You feel for a moment as though they are not only resources, not only treasures, but teachers. Quiet, patient, eternal teachers, waiting for humanity to listen. On Earth, lessons often come with urgency. A teacher's voice echoes in a crowded room. A deadline presses. A test approaches. But here, in the cosmos, the lessons arrive differently. They come without urgency, without noise. They arrive in silence, whispered to the slow turn of rock, the quiet gleam of metals, the patience of billions of years. What do the asteroids teach? The first lesson is patience. These stones have drifted since the dawn of the solar system, untouched, unchanged. They remind you that time is vast, far beyond human calendars. While humanity rushes with ambition, chasing profit and progress, the asteroids move gently, teaching that not all things must be hurried. Some treasures wait, some wisdom deepens only with age. The second lesson is humility. Asteroids carry metals older than Earth, forged in the explosions of distant stars. To touch them is to touch fragments of cosmic history, to hold in your hand matter that predates oceans, forests, and even life itself. They remind you that humanity is young, a recent spark in a universe that has burned for billions of years. To mine them carelessly is to forget this humility. To honor them is to remember it. The third lesson is balance. Asteroids exist between chaos and order. Some spin wildly, their motions unpredictable. Others drift calmly, steady in orbit. They remind you that the cosmos is neither pure stability nor pure chaos, but a balance of both. Humanity, too, must find this balance between greed and fairness, ambition and caution, exploration and stewardship. The fourth lesson is possibility. Asteroids are barren, lifeless, silent, and yet within them lies potential, metals to build, water to sustain, knowledge to inspire. They show that even in places that seem empty, abundance can be found. They remind you that possibilities often lie hidden, waiting for imagination to reveal them. You breathe, and the lessons ripple gently through your thoughts. Patience, humility, balance, possibility. Simple truths, yet profound when carried into the choices of humanity. Imagine if these lessons guided the future of space. Imagine if miners approached asteroids not as quarries, but as teachers. Each harvest an act of learning, each extraction a chance to reflect. Imagine if laws were written with patience, corporations acted with humility, nations sought balance, and societies embraced possibility. The cosmos itself would shape our choices, not through force, but through wisdom. On Earth, teachers are often overlooked until their lessons are missed. Rivers taught us to value water only when they ran dry. Forests taught us to value balance only when they were cut away. The asteroids offer their lessons now, before scars are made, before mistakes repeat. The question is whether humanity will listen. You picture yourself resting on the surface of an asteroid. The horizon curves gently. Stars crowd the sky, and beneath you lies stone older than mountains. In its silence, you hear no words, but you feel guidance. You feel the truth that wealth is not only material. Wealth is also perspective, understanding, wisdom. To mine an asteroid and ignore its lesson is to miss its greatest gift. The asteroids are patient teachers. They do not demand students. They do not punish ignorance. They simply drift, waiting. Their silence is both classroom and curriculum. And in that silence, you realize humanity can find not only resources, but also reflection. You exhale slowly and the calm deepens. You feel gratitude for these ancient wanderers, for the lessons they carry, for perspective they offer. The stars shine softly above, the asteroids hum with possibility, and you feel held in their quiet classroom. The chapter closes gently, leaving you with the thought that the cosmos itself is a teacher, and the asteroids are its first lessons, patient, humble, balanced, possible. You drift deeper into silence, the asteroids still circling slowly around you, glowing faintly in the starlight. Their metals glimmer like seeds, waiting for hands to plant them. Their waters glisten unseen, locked within minerals, ready to be drawn. And now, your mind begins to wander further, past the stones themselves, into the futures they might build. Futures of colonies among the stars, where humanity steps gently from planet to planet, carried by the gifts of asteroids. On Earth, every city began with resources. Stone for walls, timber for roofs, metals for tools. No community rises without materials to sustain it. In space, the same truth will hold. If colonies are to bloom beyond Earth, they must be built with what the cosmos provides. And the asteroids, silent wanderers, may become the quarries and wells that sustain new worlds. You breathe slowly and picture a colony in orbit, spinning gently, a ring of light around Earth. Its walls are forged from iron drawn from an asteroid. Its water recycled from minerals once drifting in the void. Within it, people walk beneath artificial skies. Children play in parks that curve upward with the curve of the habitat. The colony is alive, and its life is rooted in the stones of the cosmos. Now you picture Mars, a red desert stretching wide. On its surface, domes rise, glowing faintly against dust storms. The domes are built from metals mined in orbit, supplied by fleets of machines that harvest asteroids for materials. Water flows within, melted from icy rocks that once circled the sun colonies on Mars breathe because asteroids gave them air, drink because asteroids gave them water, build because asteroids gave them stone. The dream extends further still. Ships travel outward not fueled by Earth, but by propellants made from asteroid water, split into hydrogen and oxygen. Spacecraft pause at way stations carved into rocks, refueling before they continue to Jupiter, to Saturn, to the edges of the solar system. The asteroid become not only resources, but stepping stones, a pathway across the void. You exhale, and the image grows gentle. Colonies are not only practical, they are also symbolic. They represent humanity's ability to root itself beyond one world, to carry life into silence, to turn emptiness into home. And behind each home, each dome, each orbiting ring lies the quiet generosity of the asteroids, offering metals and water, offering possibility. But every dream carries its shadows. Colonies can divide as easily as they unite. Who will live in them? Who will own them? Will they become havens of few or homes for the many? Will they mirror Earth's inequalities or surpass them with new visions of fairness? The resources of the asteroids make colonies possible, but ethics and choice will decide what those colonies become. You let the thought soften. Dreams of colonies need not be shadows. They can be lanterns. Imagine colonies designed with balance, built to honor both Earth and space. Imagine habitats where resources are shared, where cooperation outweighs competition, where children grow up not beneath a single sky, but beneath many, each one reminding them of humanity's unity. The asteroids, in their silence, encourage such dreams. They are wanderers, unbound by nations, unclaimed by borders. They drift freely, and in their freedom, they remind humanity that colonies, too, could be built with openness, not walls. You breathe deeply and calm fills you. The dream of colonies and beyond is not fantasy. It is seated in technologies already being built, in visions already imagined. The asteroids are waiting, like teachers with lessons unspoken, like gardens with seeds unplanted. They hum with patience, whispering, "You may build, if you choose with care." And so you rest in the dream. Colonies rise in your mind, not with haste, not with conflict, but with gentleness. Rings of light spin around planets. Domes glow softly on distant surfaces. Ships glide between stars, refueled by cosmic wells. Humanity drifts outward, carried by the generosity of stone and silence. The chapter closes with this vision of asteroids not as plundered resources, but as foundations of future homes. Silent wanderers transformed into the roots of colonies, carrying humanity gently into beyond. The asteroids drift silently through the night sky, patient as they always have been. Their surfaces glow faintly, fragment of creation untouched for billions of years. They ask nothing, they demand nothing, and yet they hold within them the promise of futures unimagined. As you watch them, a thought grows in you. These are not only stones of wealth or seeds of colonies. They are inheritances. They are legacies. And humanity, standing at the threshold of their harvest, is not only a miner, but a guardian. On Earth, the story of resources has always been written across generations. Forests cut by one age left deserts for the next. Rivers dammed for power brought both light and lost downstream. Oil burned for industry reshaped climates long after its profit was counted. Each choice carried forward, rippling into futures unseen. Now, as humanity turns to space, the pattern whispers again. The asteroids may fuel progress, but their legacy will be written not for today alone, but for all who come after. You breathe deeply and the thought steadies. We are not only explorers, not only dreamers, but custodians of possibility. The cosmos belongs not just to us, but to the generations who will follow, who will inherit the consequences of our decisions. To act in space without care is to steal not only from rocks, but from children yet unborn. You picture them now. Children of the future, playing beneath skies curved within orbital habitats, drinking water drawn from icy asteroids, building homes from metals harvested in silence. Their laughter rings across colonies. Their footsteps echo on domes. Their lives depend on choices made long before their birth. These children cannot yet speak, but their voices echo softly in conscience. Guard what you give us, for we will live with it. This is the heart of guardianship. To mine with balance, not greed. To build with foresight, not haste. To create laws that endure, not loopholes that crumble. To see beyond profit into responsibility. Guardianship is not a burden, but a gift. The chance to shape a future that is not only prosperous, but kind. History offers reminders. When nations set aside land as parks, they became guardians of forests for those who would walk among them later. When communities protected rivers, they safeguarded lifelines for generations to come. In each act of care, people remember that time flows forward and that legacies outlast lifetimes. Space now asks the same, to see asteroids not only as resources, but as trusts. You exhale slowly, and the metaphor grows. Imagine holding a flame in your hand. It can warm, it can guide, it can light the way, but if you hold it carelessly, it can burn, leaving scars long after it's gone. The asteroids are such a flame. Their wealth can build futures, or their exploitation can leave imbalances that echo for centuries. Guardianship is the art of carrying the flame without harm. You rest in the thought, and the silence of the asteroids becomes comforting. They have waited billions of years. They can wait longer still. There is no urgency except what humanity creates. The choice to rush, to grasp, to strip without foresight. That urgency is human, not cosmic. The cosmos teaches patience, and guardianship begins with listening. And so, you imagine new frameworks, international councils that hold resources in trust for all nations, agreements that reserve portions of the cosmos untouched, sanctuaries of silence preserved, technologies designed not only for efficiency, but for balance. Each is an act of guardianship, a way of ensuring that when future generations arrive, they inherit not scars, but abundance. The guardians of the future may not be individuals, but communities. They may not be corporations, but agreements. They may not be loud, but steady, like caretakers of a vast garden. They will weed, water, tend, ensuring that growth does not consume itself. And you realize guardianship is not only responsibility, it is love extended forward in time, to lives who will never meet, to children who will never know your name, but who will breathe because of your care. The asteroids shimmer softly. Their glow now less like treasure and more like lanterns of memory. They are waiting to see whether humanity will choose to be merely extractors or guardians. Their silence asks a question that hums deep and unresolved. What legacy will you leave? The chapter closes quietly with this thought, that to step into the void is not only to explore, not only claim, but to protect. Humanity, if it listens, can become more than miners. It can become guardians of futures yet unseen, caretakers of possibilities yet unborn, keepers of balance in the endless night. The asteroids drift as they always have, silent, patient, unclaimed. Yet as you watch them, you begin to sense another presence woven into their story. Not the hum of machines, not the whisper of economics, but the tension of history itself. For every new frontier humanity has touched, peace has been tested. And here in the vastness of space, the question emerges softly, like a thread in the dark. Can peace endure among the stars? On Earth, peace has always been fragile. Empires have risen and fallen over salt, over silk, over oil, over gold. Borders have shifted, treaties signed and broken, conflicts sparked by the shimmer of resources. Each war began with scarcity, ambition, or fear. Each peace endured only as long as balance held. Now imagine space as the new frontier. The asteroids gleam with riches far beyond Earth's mines. Platinum, gold, nickel, iron, wealth enough to reshape nations. Yet with wealth comes temptation, and with temptation comes rivalry. Nations may race to stake claims, Corporations may compete without restraint. Tensions may flare in the silence of orbit. The fragile thread of peace stretches thin. You breathe slowly and the metaphor deepens. Peace is not a wall of stone, unshaken and eternal. It is a thread delicate and woven from trust, diplomacy, restraint. Tugged too hard, it frays. Pulled apart, it breaks. In the silence of the void, this thread may be even more delicate, for the stakes are higher, the distance is greater, the temptation stronger. Already, signs emerge. Nations speak of strategic leadership in space. Military satellites circle quietly. Programs blur the line between civilian exploration and defense. The void may be vast, but politics has always traveled faster than rockets. And so the asteroids, though silent, become entangled in human rivalries. But peace is not only fragile, it is also resilient. Like silk, a thread may bend without breaking. Like light, it may spread softly even through darkness. Treaties can be written, agreements forged, dialogues held across differences. Humanity has, again and again, chosen cooperation over conflict, creating shared skies for aviation, shared oceans for navigation, shared treaties for Antarctica. These examples whisper of what might be possible in space. You imagine an alternative future. Instead of rivalry, nations create a Council of the Stars, a forum where resources are managed collectively, disputes resolved with words rather than weapons. Instead of secrecy, corporations share technologies, ensuring safety and fairness. Instead of conflict, the void becomes a stage for cooperation, for the weaving of stronger threads of peace. The asteroids themselves remain indifferent. They do not belong to one nation. They carry no flag. They make no claim. They drift freely, ancient and unbothered. Their silence is a reminder that conflict is not inevitable. War is not written in the stars. It is written in human choices. You exhale and the calm deepens. Peace, fragile though it may be, is also precious. To protect it is to protect not only lives, but futures. A single conflict in orbit can endanger colonies, stations, satellites. A single war among the stars could cast shadows for generations. To preserve peace is not only noble, it is necessary. And so, the fragile thread must be guarded. It must be tended with care, like a candle in the wind, like a seed in dry soil. Peace does not endure by chance. It endures by choice, choice repeated daily, choice written into treaties, choice practiced in restraint. The asteroids shimmer faintly, their light soft and steady. They remind you that silence itself can be peace, that patience itself can be strength. Humanity need not weave conflict into the void. It may instead weave understanding, building a tapestry where the fragile thread is strengthened by many hands. The chapter closes gently, with the image of a thread stretching to the stars, delicate, glowing, held together by trust. Its fragility is its reminder, and its strength is its care. The asteroids drift silently around you, patient companions to a journey that has carried you through history, through law, through economics, through ethics, through dreams. Their glow has guided you gently, whispering of wealth, of risk, of possibility. Now, as you rest among them, you begin to see not only the stones themselves, but the horizon they reveal, the horizon of humanity, stretching forward into futures not yet written. On Earth, horizons are familiar. You have seen them at sea, where the line between water and sky suggests both distance and promise. You have seen them on land, where mountains rise beyond valleys, their peaks hidden in mist. A horizon is never the end. It is the edge of vision, the threshold of discovery. Beyond it, always, lies something more. In space, the horizon is not a line, but an endlessness. It curves around planets, sweeps past stars, stretches beyond galaxies. And yet, even here, the word holds meaning. Humanity, standing on Earth, looks out across the cosmos and sees a horizon, not a geography, but a possibility. The asteroids are part of this horizon, both challenge and gift, both question and answer. You breathe deeply, and the calm of the thought settles. The horizon of humanity is shaped by choice. It is not only where we go, but how. It is not only what we build, but why. The asteroids are mirrors of this truth. They can be treasures of greed or seeds of unity. They can be scars of haste or foundations of care. They do not dictate. They invite. The human horizon stretches in many directions. One path leads to colonies, glowing softly around planets, sustained by cosmic resources. Another path leads to conflict, rivalries drawn across the void. Another still leads to stewardship, guardianship, harmony. The horizon does not choose. It waits. Humanity must decide which footsteps to leave upon it. As you reflect, you realize that the horizon is not only about resources or power. It is about meaning. Why do we seek the stars? Why do we stretch into silence? Is it only to grow richer, or is it also to grow wiser? Is it only to escape Earth's limits, or is it also to honor Earth by learning balance in the void? These questions linger softly, unhurried, yet profound. The asteroids shimmer faintly, as if nodding in agreement. They remind you that the universe is older than ambition, older than conflict. Its patience is vast, its silence eternal. Humanity's horizon is but a moment in its story. And yet, within that moment lies significance. For to look outward is also to look inward. To see the horizon of space is also to ask, who are we, and who do we wish to become? You imagine a child standing on Earth centuries from now. Above them, colonies circle in light. Ships sail quietly between planets. Resources flow not as hoarded treasures, but as shared abundance. This child looks upward and feels not fear, not rivalry, but belonging. The cosmos is not an empire to them, but a home. This is one vision of the human horizon, not conquest, but connection. And perhaps, as you drift deeper into thought, you sense another truth. The horizon will always move. No matter how far we travel, no matter how much we build, there will always be more to see, more to learn, more to wonder. The horizon is not destination, but invitation. Its beauty lies in its openness, its promise that the journey never ends. You exhale slowly and the calm deepens. The asteroids, once seen as mere stones, now glow as teachers, companions, guides. They have shown you patience, humility, balance, and possibility. They have whispered of greed, of hope, of stewardship, of peace. And now, they leave you with this final gift. The vision of horizon, vast and luminous, waiting for humanity to step forward with care. The stars shine softly above, their light older than memory. The silence hums gently, timeless and kind. And you feel in this moment both small and infinite, small in the scale of the cosmos, infinite in the reach of possibility. This is a horizon, fragile, open, and ours to shape. The chapter closes in quiet reflection, leaving you with the image of humanity standing at the edge of the cosmic sea, gazing outward not with fear, but with wonder, ready to sail toward horizons yet unseen.